Om Shri Sai Ram. The Bhagavad Gita is the unfoldment of the Tattvamasi Mahavakya. A Mahavakya is considered to be a Mahavakya not because of its size, but because of its content. The popular Mahavakyas are Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Ayam Atma Brahma, and Prajnanam Brahma, of which the Tattvamasi Mahavakya is a Upadesha Vakya, which is given by the Guru to his disciple, to whom he tells. Tat means that, the literal meaning, okay, we'll just see. Tat is that, Tvam is you, and Asi is the present tense verb, meaning is or are. So, the literal meaning, as we have heard it many times, that thou art. But if we remember when we chant Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam, in that a word comes, Tattvamasyadhi Laksham. So, this is the Guru or the Parabrahma or God Himself is the Lakshartha, the implied meaning of the Tattvam Asi. Therefore, Tat and Tvam are really pronouns. Pronouns always stand for something, right? So that it stands for someone who is remote in our understanding. As we know that whenever we say God, we look up to the sky. And those of us, because we know that Lord lived on this earth and walked on this earth, so we think that He is in Prashanti Nilayam. And some also think that He is no more there. So these wrong notions need to be eliminated about that Tatpada. At the same time, the Tvam Pada also needs purification, because even if I understand God to be that all-powerful, all existence, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, yet I know that I am that limited entity. I don't have any control over what I want or I don't want. I am always tousled here and there and taking so many birth after birth. So we know our limitations. And how can it be that that supreme being, that all-knowing, that all-powerful Bhagwan and I are one? And hence, this Mahavakya is being unfolded in the Bhagavad Gita very beautifully in the 18 chapters. The first 6 chapters help us to understand who I am. Tvam pada shodhanam. Shodhanam is the purification. It shows us the process by which I get rid of all those wrong notions and realize my true self. The next 6 chapters speak of who that Tatpada is, who Bhagwan is, how to appreciate Him in the entire creation. And the last 6 chapters speak of that oneness. The verb asi is in the present tense, meaning that thou art is not something futuristic, that after I expose to the Bhagavad Gita, I will gain this knowledge and then I will become one with Bhagwan. No. Swami beautifully used to say Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Buddha, Nitya Mukta Satya Swarupa. No, that Nitya is coming with everything. He used to say Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Satya Swarupa Brahma Eva Mahamasmi. That ultimate realization, that Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Buddha, that all-knowing, that pure consciousness itself is my true reality, is what I need to experience firsthand. Not because Bhagwan calls me that I am Divyatma Swarupa and I trust him, so I say I am divine. No. I have to realize, make it real, just like a check, a check which is given to us. What do we have to do? Oh, someone gave me a 1 crore check, so I'm very happy. But I need to do a process by which I realize the proceeds of that check. Bhagwan addressing us all as Divyatma Swarupa, Prematma Swarupa is a check which Bhagwan is giving. It is in fact a blank check. He says always, don't become coolies and ask for small things after doing some small sevas, but become the inheritors of my property. इसलिए every time he addresses us as Prema Swarupa and Divyatma Swarupa, he is giving us that blank check to inherit all what we can of that glorious inheritance. Thus, we'll today just see the summary of all the 18 chapters. It begins with, of course, the chapter 1, the Vishada Yoga. Let's see the very first verse of this chapter. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Atha Prathamodhyayaha. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. Samaveta-yuyutsavaha. Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre. These two opposing forces, desirous of fighting, have assembled. And Dhritarashtra asks a question, Mamakaha. What are mine doing? And what are the Pandavas doing? Here, there is so much in this one shloka. As we all know, Bhagwan has said that Dharma Kshetra is not something in Mumbai, or nor is the Kurukshetra something which is in Haryana. But it is our own body with which we do dharma, which is an instrument to do dharma, do the right actions and reap the result of whatever we do. If we choose to do adharma, we cannot escape the result of that adharma. Sow the seeds and reap the crop. That is one reason why this body is called as the Kshetra. Kshetra can also be defined as Kshatatrayate. It is this body which will help us, which will become that boat to cross over all these sorrows. But we need to make Bhagwan the boatman. like how the Pandavas have made. Otherwise, the Kauravas were no match, because the armies, the very size of the army was so much bigger than that of the Pandavas. Because the politicians that they had taken over everyone to their side, by hook or by crook. And hence the Pandavas were left with a very small army. Even the Narayani Sena, as we knew, had been taken up by the Kauravas. But they only had Kaivartaka Keshava as their boatman, who had said that he will not wield a weapon. And yet Arjuna had chosen him, and by that had chosen the victory. That is the beauty in our lives also. When we choose Bhagwan, we have chosen the right path, the right action, and hence the right result. So therefore Bhagwan begins this teaching by telling Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. In this, our own body are both these opposing forces which are fighting against each other. Why they are fighting? Because as we know, the Pandavas are 5 and the Kauravas were 100. Okay? Like that, the good in us is many times overpowered by wrong thinking and hence wrong actions. Thus, we need, but Bhagwan is going to see the end of this. It begins with Dharma Kshetra and ends with Bhagwan telling Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha Tatra Shri Vijay Dhuti Nitir Mama. He tells that where there is Bhagwan himself and where there is Arjuna, there alone Shri, all resources, all wealth, the Vijaya, the victory, the Vibhuti, the glorious victory, the Niti, the morality will definitely be there. Okay? And it ends with the word Mama. So therefore, Swami has said that the whole teaching is giving you Dharma Mama. It begins with Dharma and ends with Mama. So hence, Bhagwan is now telling us that how to overpower these evil tendencies in us, however much they may be. That surrender to Bhagwan is so important. Bhagwan tells, no, I am the Reserve Bank of India, which no note which no one accepts, also I will accept. I am the master dhobi. Give me all your dirty linen and take from me the fresh laundered clothes. Thus, this whole process, we are going to see how to get rid of this vishada, the remorse which comes over us when we forget who we are. And this whole vishada of Arjuna, he ends in total despair by putting his weapons down, by putting everything down and saying no. In fact, Bhagwan intervenes for a short time and tells him that from where has this impotency come on you? You were such a daredevil. You have, because Arjuna had fought so many battles and so bravely, and here he is behaving so different from what he really is. Bhagwan knows, and therefore he tells him that from where this Hridaya Daurbalya, this weakness of the heart has come over, so give it up. But again, Arjuna now is come to understand that somewhere there is something wrong in his thinking. And so he tells that I am totally confused. Dharma sammudha chetaha. My buddhi is totally deluded. I am not able to think what I should do and what I should not do. And therefore, yat nishchitam shreyaha tanme bruhi. Please tell me that which will give me the ultimate good. Meaning thereby, I am not just interested in the victory in this battle. I am not just interested in getting back the kingdom which is rightfully mine. But I want to know the way by which I will get that which is ultimately good. Hence, Bhagavad Gita helps us to discriminate between the preyas, that which is pleasurable, that which gives me the immediate happiness, over something which will give me the lasting happiness. We will learn how every time to choose the nishreyas, that which may be troublesome in the beginning, but which will give me the nityanandam and the paramanandam. So here Bhagwan has a smile on his lips because Arjuna has understood the purpose, for which Bhagwan is needling him. See, from Tamogun, Bhagwan first, makes his Kshatriya blood boil and brings him into the Rajogun. And then finally will take him into the Sattva Gun of total clarity. So here Bhagwan is smiling because Mandasmita Mukharadesham, we can visualize him because he is happy. The mission for which he has come. All the other missions were there. The Vrindavana chapter, the Mathura chapter were there, but the real purpose of Dharma Samstapana was giving this knowledge of the essence of all the Upanishads to Arjuna with the Yoga Shastra. The beauty of the Bhagavad Gita is not just the Brahma Vidya, but the Yoga Shastra, the means by which I can understand, make myself ready to receive the highest knowledge. So it gives the means along with the end. So Bhagwan begins the teaching by telling Ashochan Anvashocastvam. The second chapter is called Sankhya Yoga, and it gives the entire essence of all the knowledge in the Upanishads. But at the end of it, Arjuna is going to ask a very pertinent question. That if this Brahmi Sthiti, if this abidance, because he is going to end by the Sthita Prajna Lakshana of a person living in constant integrated awareness, as our Bhagwan says, if that is so great, then why are you forcing me to fight this battle? To which Bhagwan is going to unfold the importance of taking to karma, but taking to it with the yoga buddhi, which is the yajna buddhi, with the attitude of sacrifice and surrender, and receive the result as the yajna prasada. Thereafter, Bhagavan will talk of the Jnana Yoga, where he will speak of that highest truth. He'll say that I had given this knowledge to the Surya, from it to Manu, and it has come down in the lineage. But from time to time, it gets corrupted, and hence I need to come again and again to give this knowledge. Thereafter, having unfolded the knowledge, the 5th chapter gives us certain means by which to appreciate that knowledge and make certain fine-tuning adjustments in my personality to finally be able to take to meditation not just on the God with form, but that formless truth which is my true reality, which pervades not only me but the entire universe. Bhagavan is going to tell us how to be in this state of awareness, of appreciating that divinity in me, in myself, and in the entire creation, in all that is. And then, from the 7th, Bhagavan will teach us about himself. The Jnana Vijnana Yoga, the 7th chapter. 8th, he will speak of the Akshara Parabrahma, of his true reality as that Parabrahma. And then in the 9th chapter, he will unfold the royal secret. Why it is called the royal secret? Because in spite of Bhagavan coming in so many avatars and shouting at the top of his voice, the Vedas, from the Satyug, the Vedas declaring, and now the latest, our dear Bhagavan addressing us as Divyatma Swarupa and Prematma Swarupa, and yet we continue to wonder, how can I be Divyatma? Yes, we accept it at face value, we accept it at the word level. It is like a 1 crore check received by you and kept in your locker. We need to realize the proceeds of that check by taking to a procedure of depositing the check. Like that, Bhagavan addressing the entire humanity as Divyatma Swarupa and Prematma Swarupa is not just to pep us up. He never does. What he is speaking is the reality. But that reality, I need to realize. It's a blank check he is giving us. It has told us many times, don't ever think that you are a coolie doing a little seva and stretching your hands forward for some small petty things. Surrender your seva to me and be the inheritors of my property, which is Paramananda, the limitless happiness. Thus, this realization Bhagavan will give us in the 9th chapter. In the 10th chapter, he will give us the list of his vibhutis, where he can be appreciated easily. Even if you can't appreciate him in all that is, at least where there is glory, know it to be my glory. And then in the 11th chapter, along with Arjuna, we will all see the Vishwarupa to ultimately realize how he is pervading the entire creation. Therefore, Swami Vivekananda used to tell us that we have a transcendental God and we have an immanent God. That God in heaven, that Tatpada, that Bhagwan is also this me, this entire creation in which I am. This realization, Bhakti Yoga, which shows na vibhaktaha, I am not separate from him. And finally, the last 6 chapters, which will establish this unity. Asi, it unfolds that word Asi, the present tense. God is now, here. You are that. It is not something in the future. After I cleanse myself, after I purify myself. No, even in this state of ignorance, even the worst criminal is nothing but the divinity itself. Kauravatami, Pandavatami, Umaza ha Paramartha. Beautiful song which Bhagwan tells that just Umaza, it's just awaken to this truth. Just realize that I am in all and you are not different from me. And thus Bhagwan begins the teaching which he began in the 2nd chapter by telling Ashochan and Vashochastvam. Don't grieve for something which doesn't deserve grief. 2. Telling him, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Surrender to me. Become one with me and I will cleanse you. Just as that dirty river, when it merges into the ocean, becomes one with ocean. It is cleansed of its limited existence, its being limited, and all its impurity. Mokshaishami, I will liberate you from all this dirt and sin. So therefore, this is the beautiful journey which we all will undertake. And every class will help us to get rid of all our sorrows and be in happiness. That is the whole purpose of Bhagwan coming on this earth. He tells, when people wish him happy birthday, he says, my birthday is when this divinity dawns in your heart. So that is the best gift we can give when we realize our divinity and our oneness with him. Sai Ram.